Good morning to you all. Welcome back to the Namaste experience. So happy to join, because as we know, the joining is the key to come together and to remember that we are one. So we're going to begin the dissolve now into that oneness. That's what it really is. So many people say, oh, annihilate, that's such a harsh word. So we'll start this session with a nice dissolve. So I'll invite you to hear this a couple times and then to join me. Help me dissolve. Help me dissolve. Help me dissolve into you. Help me dissolve. Help me dissolve. Help me dissolve into you. Join me. Help me dissolve. Help me dissolve. Help me dissolve into you. Help me dissolve. Help me dissolve. Help me dissolve into you. Help me dissolve. Help me dissolve. Help me dissolve into you. Help me dissolve. Help me dissolve. Help me dissolve into you. I am ready to start now. I am ready to start, for I have opened my heart to love. Only God, only now. Help me dissolve. Help me dissolve. Help me dissolve into you. Help me dissolve. Help me dissolve. Help me dissolve into you. For I am ready to start now. I am ready to start, for I have opened my heart to love. Only God, only now. Help me dissolve. Help me dissolve. Help me dissolve into you. Help me dissolve. Help me dissolve. Help me dissolve into you. Help me dissolve. Help me dissolve. Help me dissolve into you. So take a nice deep breath. Feel yourself, that small self, beginning to dissolve. Surrender. Let go. even with bombs in the distance. So let's begin by sharing our prayer for the awakened. Wait if I put the other glasses on. Hold on. One moment. There we go. Okay, please join me. The peace of God is everything that I want. The peace of God is my one goal, the aim of all my living here, the end I seek, my purpose, and my function in this life, while I abide where I am not at home. Where I abide where I am not at home. There is a feeling of home that we all know, that we recognize. We may not be able to describe, but it is a feeling that overwhelms every other possibility, every other opportunity. A feeling of home that is so deep within us that when we rest there, there is a rest so deep that we can't even begin to describe. And we all know that feeling of home because we've all come to the place in the path where we can finally see and not only believe but know that we are there. We're not approaching. We're there. We're not still walking a distance away. We are home, right here, right now. Wherever we find ourselves in our body or in any other experience, we know within the deepest part of our own heart, I am home, because I am one. And that is the great dissolve. When we dissolve into that infinite ocean of grace, like that salt figure sitting there on the edge, as the waves slowly brush against it, and every layer of salt is finally dissolved until it is one with the ocean. And so it is with us. We have come to that sacred point, and we rest there. Wherever we are, whether we're here in a place like Namaste Village, whether we're in our own homes, we finally are able to rest in that feeling, knowing that it gives us everything and it's only a breath away from the full experience, which comes from that full and complete dissolve. So as I was reading a little bit of The Annihilated Self last night, I came across a couple of lines that I wanted to share because they describe so beautifully what I think we are all feeling. The first line is, "You are trembling at the edge of a deathless life." Trembling at the edge of a deathless life. Isn't that beautiful? Do you feel that tremble, that excitement even? It's not a trembling of fear, it's a trembling of release. Because as you stand at the edge of that cliff, looking into that eternal space, you feel the urge, not only the desire and urge, but the moment has come. And there is a sacred trembling because there may still be a tiny thread still connecting us with some former belief or some former attachment. But because it's only a thread, it will be so easy to break as you lean forward and just fly. I think this is the last test, to stand there at the edge of that cliff, to feel that great dissolve, to feel that trembling, but to lean forward in spite of those final threads, and just lift our arms up and fly into eternity. That's exactly why we're here. That's exactly what's happening to each one of us. So don't mind the trembling. Don't worry about those last tiny attachments, because you are at the edge of a deathless life. In other words, you have come to the point where you identify fully with the part of you that was neither born nor can die. Not the body, not the self, but the whole true self that is known and loved by God. The other line, which describes exactly how we can achieve that fall, that lean into grace. It says, do nothing, desire nothing, be still, and let yourself be undone. Be still and let yourself be undone. That's why I really appreciate this. Whoa, hello. For those of you who are listening from other places, we have begun the period of celebration, which every few moments we hear these sacred release bombs. That's what they are.
Joy bombs.
Reminding us, only love, only God, only now. Maybe they're symbols of that sacred trembling as we sit at the edge of this deathless state. Let me read this part as well. The fire within you is beginning to grow. Do you feel that? Do you feel the fire beginning to grow? And as it changes from a glowing ember to a burning inferno, many ghosts will rise to distract you. Many ghosts will rise to distract you, drawing you away from the simplicity of my message. All I ask is that you hold to your desire to dissolve until even that has dissolved. Even the desire to dissolve has dissolved. Then every other voice that may have distracted you from me, from love, will be stilled. And you will hear your own voice speaking through and as me. This is the final stage, when you hear your own voice speaking through and as love. And when you feel that, when you sense the approach of that holy experience, then nothing else will suffice. Nothing else can distract you. But there is that pause right before, as you're standing at the edge of the cliff, right before you lean in. And this is what it means when it says, many ghosts will rise in your mind, trying to pull you back. What about this? What about that? Oh my goodness, how will they take care of themselves? All of these other thoughts. How will I pay my bills? Whatever it may be. Will I be able to take care of myself? As if when you dissolve into love, you'll be helpless, and it will be the opposite. You will be truly helpful. And isn't that what we all want? I'm here only to be truly helpful. You won't be helpless. You won't, as we've said before, just be like a bowl of Jell-O, unable to do anything, unable to hold yourself up straight. In fact, you'll be straighter than you've ever been, but you'll also be more flexible than you've ever been, able to respond in an instant only to love. That's what it means when love says that you'll be speaking through and as me. Every word that you speak will be that love. It will carry that frequency, that vibration. And that's the thing about energy, is that it follows a frequency. when you have someone speaking to you, carrying the energy of love, you feel that, you know that. Or someone can be saying one thing, but they're feeling the opposite, and you feel that and know that as well. So all we're really saying here is that those two things become one. Your expression and your expression become one. And this is why, for us, the little motto that we share, only love, only God, only now. Chris beautifully painted that on the wall of the community room, just to remind us that if we stay with this, then everything begins to dissolve. And I've said before that even that, only love, only God, only now, simply ultimately becomes only love, only love, only love. Because only love is real. Only love is real. Now that may be very hard to believe when we look out at the world that we sometimes see, or at least think we see, or read about, or watch online, or in the news. It may be very hard for us to remember that only love is real. And that's the trembling. Because the ghosts that are still rising are saying, but wait a minute. I have an example of how only love is not real. Lean in. Just lean forward. Those threads will break, I promise you. You see, it used to be that as you stood there, because you've always been at the edge of that cliff. There's been nothing else but at the edge of that cliff. And yet you were held by huge metal ropes, just tied together, and you were solid, and there's no way you could lean forward and fall or fly. But you've done the work. Congratulations. You've done everything you need to do, and that's why it's only a few threads. And sometimes we fool ourselves into believing that those threads are really huge, strong ropes, but they're not. So lean forward. I promise you that at the instant when you think you're about to fall into the abyss, wings will spread and you'll fly. And you know that. Deep within you know that. And that's why you're here in this moment, in this sacred, holy moment. So I'm very curious to hear what our dear Queen Victoria and our dear Vicky, no, same person.
Same person.
One is one. To hear what Penny Honey and Vicky are going to say about that holy, sacred lean into love. Go ahead, Vicky. Take it away.
Thank you, Brother James. So I'm going to bring it right down to the simplest form again. We're going from trauma to joy. That's what trembling on the edge is. That impending moment, it's impending joy. Trust that. Welcome that. Look at it with wonder instead of it with fear. And the operative word in all of this, and James, you said it, is let. Just L-E-T, let. Dissolving is just allowing. It isn't any proactive efforting on our own. It's what effortless grace looks like. We stand in grace, in effortless grace. What is effortless? It means no defense, no protecting, no striving to get. It means standing still, letting the dissolving, that spirit blesses us. When we let, we invite spirit to take over. That's what this is. It's allowing spirit to take over. It's getting out of the driver's seat and letting ourselves be brought, welcome, ushered home. It's impending joy that happens when we stand on that edge. And when we let ourselves be in trauma, in sadness, and anger and hurt, or whatever it might be, but the willingness to let all of that dissolve. That means let all those feelings, everything dissolve, all our understanding that we think we know so much, just let and stand there and wonder and welcome and wait for it, because it always has to come, because there isn't anything else. And the other thing I want to say, it reminded me, Deborah and Marianne brought up, do you know, some of you, Saul Steinberg, he was the original publisher of the Course in Miracles. Saul was one of the best examples of just being himself. He went through all this somehow very early on and ended up a peaceful, jolly old elf in his life. And when I came to know him, and Deborah spent a week living with him, this guy was just ordinary, and he was himself at peace. You couldn't ruffle him. There was nothing to ruffle. That's what we're coming to. Let all the things that ruffle you just stand still. That's what dissolves. Let them dissolve. It's grace that's dissolving them, and it's grace that's welcoming us home to where we know we belong, where there is no issue of safe, not safe. It is an all-inclusive state of jubilation. Speaking of which, the dance tonight is a fiesta dance, and it's bilingual in 2 languages, I understand. So tonight, come to the dance if you can. Okay, that's it. I love you
That's
all.
right. Wednesday night, dance night. Thank you, Chris. You know, you reminded me, Vicky, of the sacred ordinary. How ordinary this sacred energy and love really is. We like to think it's extraordinary, but that's only from the perspective of the one standing outside. When you're inside, when you're within this sacred moment, this sacred release, it's the most ordinary, beautiful thing in the world, and you see it in every ordinary moment. That's one of the things that I really like about Namaste Village, is that there's very little pretense here. Have you noticed that? There's very little energy of, I think of myself, for example, the last thing I want to be is a guru, except in the sense that we're here, we're all here only to spell the word. G, you are you. I mean, what can be more ordinary than that? But there is a sacredness within that ordinariness at the very core. We don't have to put on the costume, in other words. We don't have to act a certain way. We just be. We just allow. To me, that is very sacred. So, Penny Honey, you ready to go? Come on in.
It's fun, isn't it, to consider ourselves being both sacred and ordinary? Lightens the load, doesn't it? Can lighten the load. So, as love would have it, as I like to say, I woke up this morning thinking I was homesick. I did. I had quite the tender moment with Rosie in the kitchen. And then what do you talk about? Home. Right? We are one. There's only one. And in that, there's not a lot of room for homesickness. Home, I know. Guess what?
You have an acronym.
I have an acronym. HOME, here. Here, our memories evolve. And it is in the dissolving into the truth of who we are that we start to let go of those attachments and allow those memories of whatever home is to you to be extracted from the attachments and bring us back to the love that they have served as. I like to think of those memories as a path that led me to realizing there is only love. So I walked around in my little casa and I touched the things that belonged to my grandma. And I thought about turkeys and stuffing and mashed potatoes. And then I extracted all of those things from that memory, and all I felt was love. Because dissolving into and allowing those attachments of those physical things to dissolve, that's transformation. We have the power to transform any memories that might separate us. We have the power to stand in the knowing that we are only one, that there could be no separation. And I thought about all those turkeys that I cooked and all that turkey soup I've made. And I thought about all that work and how people would think I was crazy for doing all that work. And I extracted all of that from it. And you know what I ended up with? A really big soup pot of love. That's all that was left when I was willing to dissolve into. Letting those memories evolve. That's home for me. See, I don't need the attachments. We don't have to throw the baby out with the bathwater. Meaning that we can keep the things that are the true definition and the true expression of who we are, releasing identity, releasing attachments. That's the bathwater. Throw it out. Let it transform. Dissolve into what you've always been. Thanksgiving has to be probably my favorite holiday because it's based on gratitude. And in the love that we are, that is the only place we could possibly be. And that is when our wings expand. That's when we step into that gratitude, we can feel ourselves open to all that we've ever only been. Just pure love. And that divine discontent, you know what that is? That's your little wings folded up behind you, wanting to open up. So, as we get reminded often, soar, fly, dissolve into what you've always been. Thank you.
Thank you, Penny. Thank you so much. This energy of home, I've been thinking about that myself. All of my siblings are returning to Minnesota right now. My brother from Nashville and the others. Everybody but me. Everybody will be there with my father except me. And there was a thought of, it reminded me of when years ago when I used to think, I'd go home to visit family and think, most of my siblings were still there in Minnesota, and maybe I should move back. Maybe I should move back to the Twin Cities. And then I'd go back around Christmas time or Thanksgiving and say, screw this. I cannot take this cold anymore like I used to. Because there is really a thing called winter skin, you know? You just kind of deal with it. You get used to it. Kind of like when you play guitar, you have to develop calluses on the ends of your fingers. Well, guess what? Our calluses are gone. There's no going back to that childhood home and thinking it's going to be like it once was. There's only relaxing and even feeling that hesitation as we fall into love and spread our wings and fly. Because home is right where you are right now. Home is within you. It's not out there in some memory that's never going to be the same. So enjoy this wonderful day of gratitude tomorrow. Doesn't matter if you're American, Canadian, European, and all of that is extra. Be grateful. Be grateful for the sacred now. And then step forward. And to this we say, Amen, 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 y punto. Everyone have a beautiful day, and we'll see you tomorrow on Thanksgiving. Namaste.
Thank you. Have a great